Hey coaches, Doug Peterson here. He's been serving as the head of the church softball league for a number of years. Little instructional video. I want to show you about our new technique for laying down the chalk line here for the foul lines. Guaranteed to give you an arrow straight line all the way to the foul pole. But first I want to let you know a couple of things that were done in the off season last year at the request of the Township. All of the base receptacles for all base distances for softball and baseball were reset on every field. Okay. They also requested that unused base distances have those sockets removed. So, and then all the ones that are still being used were reset and realigned to their exact specifications. Most importantly, the first base sockets and the third base sockets were all realigned with the foul poles on each respective field. And I know one thing coaches struggle with sometimes is laying down a chalk line. Some kind of do it just kind of off the cuff, haphazard. So I'm trying to line up with the foul pole and always make it, but that's okay. For those of you that really want to have a good line, not only to help the umpire, but to make sure your players don't get a bad call, there's a new system that I put in place here last fall, and the key part of it allows just one person to lay down a chalk line perfectly aligned with the foul pole on any four of these fields here at the Township. And a key component are these orange spikes that are in the ground, roughly about 3 feet off the edge
now,
of the
key
grass.
thing to remember when starting a chalk line
in
is
line
where the
with
foul
the foul
line
pole.
actually is. Some coaches,
It's
unfortunately,
really quite a simple system.
interpret the foul
Let me
line
show you home
getting
plate
right
first.
here at these points on the plate. That is incorrect. The foul line actually begins at the rear point of home plate. So this is the edge of the third base foul line, and this is the edge of the, obviously, the first base foul line. So using this new system, it's really quite simple. I put a spike in the ground, lined up the spike with the rear tip, and then ran the line out to the orange spike. I'll show you where third base is, how it landed perfectly. Once you run the line out, you can just lay it off on top of the center of the spike, center line there, and then you just kind of pull it taut, and then snap the line a couple of times and get it to straighten out. And as you can see, when I put the base in at third base, it is right on the edge of the base where it's supposed to be. And then when you lay down the chalk line, obviously, another mistake coaches will make sometimes is that they think the chalk line is supposed to straddle the line. That is incorrect. So for the third base line, the very edge, left edge of the chalk line should actually hit the string, so that there's no chalk to the left of the string. The chalk is just on this side of the third base, and then obviously that runs right into the base. You can see that illustrated here how I've got the edge of the chalk at the edge of the line on the third base side. So, and obviously from the first base line, you'll have to reorient the spike, line that up with the first base side of home plate, and then rerun the line out to the other orange spike on the right field. And here's the spike out in right field of field 1, again about 3 feet up the grass. I've already snapped the line with the pitching rubber spike set up behind the plate, and you're ready to do first base. And here's first base field 1. You can see the line dead on with the foul pole, kissing the edge of the base. And again, when laying the chalk line, the right edge of the chalk line for first base would be against this light, so the line, because the fields are so closed. The pandemic, but you get the idea. So there's example first base line, and then obviously the third base line, and they are in perfect alignment with when I did this all by myself, like I say, you're an eager beaver, you're out here early all by yourself, you can lay down a perfectly straight line, aligned with the foul pole, all by yourself with this new system. So all these orange spikes are on all 4 fields. And obviously a lot of work done here with the drainage work, the township. The parks people partnered up with the road district under Jim Condon, and we'll show you that here in a second. Okay, I'm standing in the middle of what used to be the flooded left field of Field 1 at the Township ball field complex. Even though it rained yesterday, Saturday, April 25th, left field is dry. It is not soggy at all. And as you know, for the last several years, there's been a serious problem out here with this field retaining water. And it's been a chronic problem. I know it's been an annoyance, especially for the baseball guys, because of the distance you guys are hitting. The younger teams can't quite hit the ball as far. Baseball, softball, not so much of a problem. But the township really went to work in the off season to fix this problem. And oddly enough, even though they didn't know it worked on Field 1, the work they did on Field 2 fixed Field 1. They started out laying a series of piping from behind the football equipment shed. There's a tree line back there, and they started the tree line and they ran this line all the way around to the light pole over here in Field 2 in right center field. And what they also did was they ran a line from that area through the middle of the field over to a drain right here. And this drain has water in it, and when they put this drain in, it actually drained the standing water in Field 1. It came underneath the cart path. The soil here is very sandy, and it came into here, and that is what is keeping Field 1 dry now. On Field 2, one thing they also did was they put in a bunch of lateral lines coming off the main line, and the lateral lines are actually drain tile. So there's quite a bit of drain tile out here in the field that is collecting water, actually coming up from an underground spring. Several springs were observed out here, water coming out of the ground. Yours truly saw some of those springs myself with my own eyes, and it was just amazing. Middle of winter, there was fresh water coming out of the ground, bubbling up and draining into the new drain system that they have here. So there's still some work to do out here. Obviously, they have to finish grading. Obviously, they had a couple of low spots where the water pooled from the rain yesterday, but they have to finish grading this. I believe they're seeding it. And then also they started putting in a warning track, starting from the third base foul pole. They started to put that in, and obviously they'll be running that all the way across the field. I know there's a plan to put a warning track in Field 1. I don't know if that's this year or not. Still quite a bit of work left to do here on Field 2. So, but quite an extensive project they did. And there's also drains behind the fence at regular intervals. There's one over there, there's one over there, and these drains should also help all the soccer leagues and obviously the football, the Junior Warriors football as well. Here's the cutout for the warning track, and it's gonna look good when it's all done. So interesting, at various times during the winter I was checking the project on the status of this project, and if you go all the way down to the tree line, it didn't matter how cold it was because the pipe is exposed at the tree line, but beyond the fence there at field 3, but it didn't matter how cold it was, there was water constantly draining through this new system they put in. So that gives you an idea how much water was bubbling up out of the ground, and that is why we've had these problems here for several years now. It seemed to be pretty chronic last year. It seemed like it got worse, but recall we did have a lot of rain late winter, early spring last year, and obviously the water table came up and it finds the path of least resistance, and it found one right in the middle of our right field. So, well, it looks like the problem's solved, but thanks to the Township, Terry Wagner, Jim Condon, all those guys, worker bees that were out here, especially the cold, digging and laying drain pipe. It was quite a project. So looking forward to seeing us all buttoned up and looking good, ready for play. If not by the middle of this summer, then hopefully for spring next year. So okay, hope you enjoyed the instructional video. Stay safe, everyone.